Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we're talking about Vane's new album, This World Is Going to Ruin You, and watching the music video for The Killing Womb, which is pretty bananas. If you haven't seen it already, you're definitely in for a ride. Now, Vane was one of my favorite finds back in 2018 when they released Arizone. Was one of my favorite albums of the year, and I still go back and listen to it all the time. It was basically just a monumental record for the band, and This World Is Going to Ruin You builds on that foundation really well. Welcome Home is an intense opener that switches between hammering grooves and dissonant guitars, and The Killing Womb, which is one of my favorites, immediately follows it and is everything that I love about Vane. It's somewhat brief, but it's packed with incredible intensity, and it's always moving and just overflowing with energy. The vocal variety is also quite impressive. The screams often act as another indecipherable instrument, just adding to the chaos and the intensity, but you'll definitely notice when they shift into the lower range, and that type of vocal variety is so good in a band like this. I also like how the screams come really clearly through for the one-liners, okay? The build up to the end of The Killing Womb is really hectic and the screams are distorted, but everything lines up for the final grooves as You Won't Make It comes through loud and clear, and that's kind of a recurring theme of the album. The tracks often bleed into each other, which makes it unclear where one ends and another starts, and it can be disorienting, honestly, because some of the songs are only a minute or a minute and a half long, and so you never really know if you just entered a new song or it was like an interlude and you're halfway through the last song. You just never really know. And that endless attack of intensity is the type of organized chaos that I like about Vane so much. And the cleans in Fear and Nonfiction are also really cool. They might catch new listeners by surprise, not expecting a band like this to have cleans. But yeah, these short, tasteful singing sessions are something that I really liked about Arizone, and I'm glad that they're in this album as well. And I think that's the thing with Vane. It's just you never really know what you're going to get with these guys. And sometimes that can be good, and sometimes it can be bad. The album does get a little sidetracked towards the end, and there are a few songs that I don't enjoy as much. To be frank, the ambient and shoegaze influences venture into Loath's territory, and it's not something that I really like to hear from Vane. Wherever You Are is the first indication of weakness, and if it was a standalone track that was meant to give the listener a breather, that would have been okay. But it's the first sign that Vane is about to shift away from their signature chaos, and the result, in my opinion, is pretty lackluster. And it's a bummer because Wavery and Funeral Sound are really weak album closers. I talked before about some of the songs being a minute or a minute and a half long. Well, these two songs together take up 12 of the album's 32 minutes, which means that the last third of the album is just not very good. And it's obviously just me. These are just my opinions. I'm not that into the shoegaze ambient sound that much. I didn't really like Loathe going in that direction, and I don't really like other bands trying to copy them. Especially, and I'm just going to call Darko out here, their new single, just unnecessary. I liked what they did with Donna. They can definitely do that softer side of things, but I don't get all these bands trying to do this new shoegaze side of things. So overall, despite this album having a lot of really strong songs, I think Arizone is still going to be my go-to Vane album. It just doesn't have any holes in it the way that this one does. And honestly, I don't blame Vane for trying to experiment, trying to branch out. I do hope that they stick more to their core sound. I think that this ambient shoegaze type stuff is a bit of a fad right now that I'm hoping is going to die out pretty soon. But yeah, Vane, chaos, intensity, just organized hecticness, I guess. That's what they do best. That's where they excel. And that's what I hope they keep doing. So with that, guys, let's go ahead and switch over to the music video for The Killing Womb. Like I mentioned, this video is bananas. It's a lot of fun. You'll see what I'm talking about too. Pay attention to the organized chaos of the instruments. And the intro reminds me a bit of Slipknot. That part right there. I can't remember what Slipknot song it is. It's on the tip of my tongue. But yeah, Pay attention to how just like chaotic everything is, and then how it all comes together to line up for the groovy sections. It's a really cool effect that they just do throughout the whole album. And this music video is legit just like a horror movie. Lots of just little vocal variations in here. And I wonder if the eye in this music video is kind of a throwback to the album cover of Aerozone. This is like one of those groups where everything comes together. Such a cool outro. Yeah, it's just such a cool effect that they do, and they do it in the whole album where it's like getting things to come all together and just link up the way that they do for these like really cool riffs and just like the grooves and the drums. I think the drums were pretty spectacular on this album. I know I didn't talk about that too much, but yeah, I mean, Vane, I want to love this. 10 out of 10. It's just the end of the album doesn't quite do it for me. The first 20 minutes, so good. So good. If this doesn't rank really highly on my list at the end of the year, it's just going to be because of those last two songs taking up the last third of the album, when it just doesn't give you that like closure that you're looking for. Especially when you have songs like this, like The Killing Womb, and so many of these others just like pedal to the metal, so intense and fast-paced and energetic. And I don't know, I saw these guys play live one time and they were so good. Just such a fun band to see live. So I don't know, I think I'm just gonna have to write off those last two songs, say I think it was just a bit of experimentation that other people may enjoy, but it wasn't quite for me. So it is what it is. But this is one of the most exciting bands in my opinion, and yeah, really excited to see what they do next.